So, we only have what we have in terms of, evaluating them and thinking about them, obviously, from their coordinator experiences. But I did think there was they each had a quote this season that went viral in different ways that I thought was like a perfect microcosm of who they are. And I guess stuck out to me as an analytics guy, where you had Ben Johnson talking about how the EPA in the passing game is one of the most critical factors in determining wins and losses. And then you had Aaron Glenn saying, who says it's a passing league? The team that won the Super Bowl, the Eagles, what were they in passing? 29th. I mean, that's also if you're using, total Ross, numbers, I think they were actually top 5 in drop. I think they were numbers. Actually, they were top 10 rather in dropback EPA, and also on defensive EPA on the dropbacks they were top 3. So I think it's one of those things where it's yeah, it's definitely a passing league. I do think Glenn was probably saying enough there to just sort of maybe hide from the fact that maybe the quarterback for the Jets right now isn't so good at passing. But I do think it's also I do have a lot of confidence in Glenn. I do think the defense is still really strong. It obviously took a step back last year from its really strong performances the 2 prior years, but I would not be surprised to see, especially under Glenn with the miracles he was able to work with all the injuries last year in Detroit, if he was able to do a lot more with that defense. And then that offensive line, man, is serious. That is maybe one of the best units in football. I could see it's young, and there's it's not everyone's a household name or anything, but man, is that a good offensive line, and that's a great running back room with Brees and Braylon Allen and Isaiah Davis. So I could really see, and then with how a rushing quarterback helps the running game, I could really see this Jets sort of relying on that run game, filtering the passing game mostly through Garrett Wilson, and actually being pretty competent this year. But at the same, and we'll see what Engstrom turns out to be, obviously having been under Ben Johnson all those years. But I don't know if I'd go as far to say that I would prefer to have Glenn right now than if we had been able to attract Ben Johnson. At the same time, there is a lot to feel good about with Glenn.